Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode, another page in my Factorio Beginner's Guide. Now this time, and if you remember last episode, if you watched it, we placed a offshore pump here, and we didn't really do anything with it, and that's fine, because what we need to do with it is a little more complicated than could have been fit at the end of that last episode. So what we're going to do this episode is I'm going to talk you through getting your first electrical power plant set up, and it doesn't take very long to do. It's not overly complicated. So we're going to throw in addition to that, getting your first science lab up and running, because really that's the goal of the first goal of your power plant is going to be powering a science lab. That really needs to be your first priority. So let's go revisit where we're at. And now what we're going to need to do is bring some of the coal that we've got down here being mined. We need to bring some coal from this patch up to that point to supply our power plant. So what I've done is I've gone ahead and built 4 steam engines and 2 boilers, because each boiler can supply steam for 2 power plants. And I've built, let's see, the 4 steam engines, 2 boilers, so we got a good ratio there. I've built a bunch of belts. I've built the inserters we're going to need. I built a science lab, and in the meantime, while I'm waiting for our iron smelting process to take place, because I've got 2 iron smelters here, I went ahead and built another assembly, another burner miner drill, and another furnace here. So we've got double the capacity of iron plates because we need so frickin' many of them. So with that in mind, we're actually going to need some pipes because let's go ahead and make, let's see, I'll say 1, 2 underground pipes. I'm going to right click on each of these pipe recipes here, the straight pipes, and that's going to make 5 at a time if I right click on it instead of left click. And right click on it a couple more to give us a good supply, probably about 20 pipes. I think that ought to be good. Oh, you know what? We're going to need electric poles. So let's go ahead, and we need wood and copper cable. Well, I've still got plenty of copper plates. So let's go ahead and make, I need 11. I'll go ahead and make 11. There we go. Alright, so one thing we're going to need that we don't have is splitters. What I would typically do is I would run a splitter that would take the contents of this belt and split it evenly between 2 outputs. Well, we don't have that yet. We don't have the capability to make that yet, so I'm going to have to make another whole array of mining machines. So let's do that right here. And we're basically going to do the same assembly we did here. I'm going to leave these pieces here. They're not, these belts right here, they're not doing anything, but it does allow for adding additional miners if we want to do that. But once we get electrical power, you're going to find we're not going to really need these burner miners anymore. So let's run a length of belts all the way up toward the water. We may not have enough. It doesn't look like we're going to have enough, so let's go ahead, start construction of more belts. And let's work on this, shall we? Let's work on the other end of this power plant. So we're going to put a couple of underground belts, a couple of underground pipes. They have a limited range. Put one more set. There. Okay. So that's going to bring the water to this point. And now let's go ahead and pair up. Let's see, 1, 2. We're going to leave a space in the middle, which we're going to fill with a pipe. Okay, there's... Oh, you know what? We want these boilers pointing the other way. Yep, there we go. So that way we're going to run the steam engines up this way. Oops, this pipe is now in the wrong place. And then you can see the output arrows here for the steam engines. We're going to go ahead and add those, but I'm going to leave a space of 1 pipe in between the boiler array and the steam engine array, and I'm going to put a length of pipe in there, and that will be apparent later on, but we're not going to talk about that right now. That does the same job, but just leave that space in there, and I will explain what I'm doing. Oh, nuts, since I rotated these, it threw this off too. So let's do this. Now the pipes, since I rotated the boilers, the pipes no longer line up, so I've got to put this little offset in here. Okay, this is how you set up your power plant. You can use one. You can use a single steam engine if you want, and a single boiler. That's fine. I just want to start out with 4. That's just typically what I do. Okay, then you have to connect the steam engines to the electrical grid, and you do that by placing these poles. And notice there's a shaded area around the pole that represents the influence, that represents the reach that the electrical system of that pole has. In order to input into the grid, there needs to be some sort of power production entity within that blue square of a utility pole or a substation, which we'll get into much later, and or something like that. So therefore we have to put the steam engines up against or right into that area of influence. Let's go ahead and run the poles downward. Oh yeah. Okay, so let's actually run some of the poles this way. And we're going to run a couple poles this way. Awesome. Okay, so now we still don't have power yet because we have to feed coal into the burner, into the boilers. And I think we might have enough this time. We'll see. So let's leave a space between the belt and the boiler. Okay. By the way, the R key rotates whatever it is you're trying to build, and so you got to have the belt in the right configuration, the right direction. Okay, we're still not going to have enough. Okay, let's go back down. We should have some more iron plates. Oh yeah, we got tons. And let's go ahead. I right-clicked 8 times, so that's going to give us 40 additional belts. Actually, it's going to give us 40 additional pairs of belts, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, fantastic. So we're going to have coal coming up here very shortly. So let's go ahead and have our inserters oriented to put coal into the boilers. We only have 2 boilers for now, but this array right here is tileable. And we can just take this and just place an identical array right next to it, and so on and so forth right down the line. Awesome. So we're going to do one more thing. We're going to place our science lab. Okay, now let's take a look at the available technology. Oh, by the way, let's actually, we can make 41 red science packs. Let's go ahead. I'm going to right click a bunch of those. I could shift left click and have it make the whole stack. Like it says right there, I can make a total of 16. I could right click, or I could shift left click, and it'll make all 16. But the problem is it won't make the first one until it makes all the subcomponents for the science kits. And then it'll start working on the first science pack. But I want to have science packs in my inventory now. So let's go ahead, right click a couple more. Alright. So let's go ahead, we're going to add some science packs in there. Let's go ahead to T and see what technology we want to work on. And I'm thinking possibly, let's see, with 10 red science packs we could have automation, but I'd kind of like to do logistics because that gives us splitters and gives us underground belts, and they are so important. But you know what? With automation, we can start working on an assembly area that can make red science packs for us. So that's important too. So I'd say actually let's do that first. So let's go ahead and click Start Research, and there we go. And watch, we're going to come up here and see our steam engines doing their thing. Yep, look at that animation. Pretty cool. So they're chugging away, making steam. And let's go ahead, drop the rest of the science packs in there that we're producing. And you can see the bar up here is telling us where we're at in our quest for automation. Automation is going to give us assembly machines. Assembly machines are the things we need. They require electrical power, but they are what we need to start making things. That's what this is all about. This is about automation. It's Factorio. That's what we do. We automate stuff. And by the way, we can speed up the process by just making more labs and feeding more red science packs into it. They're additive. The benefit of adding more labs is that it's going to make the current research go much faster. But don't look at that and think that you can make more labs and have additional science research on other topics going on simultaneously. That can't happen. You pick one thing and all the science labs work toward that one thing. So that's just the way it is. Okay, so this, obviously, we have a surplus of coal, and once we have splitters, we can actually bring belts down here to the copper. But also with splitters, we can combine these together into one belt. All these miners can work together. All right, so we've finished that research. Let's go ahead and do logistics. So we're going to start research on that. How many more science packs do I have in my inventory? 14. Okay, so we're going to need probably about 5 more science packs. Let's go ahead and make 20 more. And that will research logistics. So now that we have automation, let's do another thing. Let us build an assembly machine. So I'll go ahead and add that to the queue. Now, unfortunately, because we're making things in hand, there is a queue. We can only make so many things at a time. That's the benefit of assembly machines. We can have other assembly machines do the work for us. Now, I want to show you something. If you look, you're going to see things start appearing on our map, like this right here. We can't tell what that is, but I can tell you that it's a man-made object, or at least whatever it is that I am. Some other humans or something were here and tried to build a civilization, and they failed. But that's something that we can exploit and get stuff from as part of the Ruins mod. Now, if we were playing vanilla, that wouldn't be there. There is one other thing I'd like to make. That's radar. And with power, we can have radar. I'm going to go ahead and make 2 radar sets, and I can't make any utility poles. Why? Because I don't have any lumber. So let's go see if we can find some downed trees or something. I've seen a couple pieces of dead wood around. Let's go down this way. Yep, there's some right there. Let's go ahead and grab this dead wood, and we're going to make utility poles out of it. And that hissing sound you hear is things being finished, things being built in hand. Okay, so we've made some utility poles. I'm going to run them up here. Oh, look at all the trees. We were looking for lumber, and then we have just trees like crazy to our north. And this green ore right there is what we're going to need for making nuclear power in the future. Okay, we've got 18. Let's go ahead, plop a radar set right here. That is going to be powered by our power plant. And that's just going to start to open up big swaths of the map. Oh, look at this. What is that thing? That is an abandoned gate. Okay, part of the Ruins mod. Again, wouldn't show up in vanilla, but it's here now. We'll try to exploit those ruins as little as possible, because doing so kind of ruins the instructive nature of the video. But if we can benefit from it without, you know, detracting from teaching vanilla Factorio, then yeah, we could do that. So let's set up another radar set down here, and this will open up this swath of the map. And let's go ahead and hit the map, and we can see what it immediately opens up. What's down here? Ah, see? There's an abandoned furnace with some ore. And there's something up here, too. Oh, that's the copper stuff that I laid down. Okay. I would actually like to make one additional radar set. And now what does that run me out of? It runs me out of iron ore. Let's go over here to the copper and grab some more copper. Alright, let's grab some more iron, which you should have plenty. Oh, right. And the science lab is no longer sciencing because it ran out of science packs, and I've got a bunch of them in my hand right now. So let's go ahead and drop those. I noticed that it had stopped doing its thing, but I didn't hear the ding, so let's go ahead and drop that in there. And these are going well. Good. Okay, so I made assembly machines, did I not? Yes, I made at least one. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to set one up here. let's actually go up here and grab some more lumber because we're going to build a crate. So let's go ahead, get some wood, giggity. And let's make, oh, we can make iron chests too. Let's go ahead, 1, 2, 3, 4. The iron chests actually have a little more capacity than the wooden chests. So let's go ahead and use them. Can I actually make another assembly machine by chance? Yes, I can. Let me make a couple of them. Okay, so there's our logistics. And let's go ahead and we're going to rearrange our miners. Let's go ahead and add a splitter to the mix. Oh, you know what? We can make electric mining drills. Right. Well, you know what? Let's not do that yet. Let's take the belts that we have. And, let's see, we're basically going to make 1, 2, 3 by 3 blocks of open space in between each loop of this belt. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take these, mine them up, and then we're going to take one splitter that we made. Look at this. Okay, it'll take... Okay, so it's going to take the one input and split it between 2 belts, just like that. And now we can just take our miner drills, relocate them with our burner inserters, and let's go ahead, put a little bit of coal in each of these to reprime them. Alright, so there we go. So now we've got a good miner array here, and we've got a couple of assembly machines, and let's see what we can do actually. So let's set up our crate, one crate. This is going to be like our input here. Oh, you know what else we need? We need some of these yellow inserters that are electric. Boogie woogie woogie woogie. Alright, let's make 1, 2, 3, 4 of those. And we're going to put some iron plates in here. Let's actually put half of them. And I just want to show you how automation works in this game. Again, we want to put our machines within these influences of utility poles. And we don't have to necessarily put it... We don't have to put our assembly machines just right along a string of power lines. We can build them anywhere we want and then run the power lines to them. That is typically how it's done. I'm just putting them here for convenience. So let's have our inserter pulling iron plates out of this crate, and we're going to tell this thing to make, let's see, I want to make red science packs. So let's see, in order to make red science packs we need iron gear wheels. So let's go ahead and tell this to make iron gear wheels. So it's going to take these, make gear wheels, and then we're going to take another crate, put it here, and that's going to be the input for this assembly machine. But we're also going to be taking the iron crates from this assembly machine and bringing it to that assembly machine. Oh, you know what? I got a better idea. Instead of taking the iron gear wheels directly from one assembly machine to another. Oh, do I have enough to build another utility pole? Yes, I do. Let's build a couple of them. And let's build a couple more inserters. I don't have lights yet. That's unfortunate. So let's put a pole right there. And then... Oh, actually, you know what? Let's not do that. There's a better way to do this. We're going to leave 3 spaces in between these assembly machines. 1, 2, 3. And we're going to put one crate in between them, centered. And unfortunately, I think we are going to need an extra utility pole again. And then we're going to put assemblers or inserters, bringing the gear wheels from the assembly machine into the crate, and then from the crate into this other assembly machine. Now what that allows us to do is it lets an extra buildup of gear wheels build up in that crate. So now we got to set the recipe for this second assembly machine, and we're going to have it make red science packs, automation science packs. I just call it red science. We're going to have it make red science, so we give it that recipe. Now notice it also needs copper plates. That's what the other crate was going to be for. So let's go ahead, set up an inserter and a crate feeding into that. And let's fill that crate with copper plates, or at least put a bunch of copper plates in it. And then let's go ahead, put a crate next to that one, and this time the inserter pulls out. So there we go. So now we have, as long as we keep this thing supplied with raw materials, then it will keep making red science. So how's that? So not only did we set up our power plant, we set up a science lab, and we set up our first automated production. So there we go. So they killed 3 birds with 1 stone. I hope you guys found this interesting. You know what? Let's grab those 3 science packs that we've now produced, and let's throw it right back in. And you know what? Let's also start a new research. And I think lights would be fantastic. Okay, so let's go ahead and hit T. And the very next one is optics, which creates lights. Let's do that. Oh, hang on. I didn't actually start it. Okay, so optics and start research. Good. So there we go. So like I said, we've killed 3 birds with 1 stone. We've got power set up. We've got science set up, and we've got automation set up. So there we go. Those are 3 things, 3 critical concepts in this game. Hopefully you found this interesting. Be sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I will see you in the next one. Ciao.
Thank you.